Okay, what's up, everybody? This is a custom request for Daisuk Tapan. I believe I pronounced that right. Daisuk Tapan. So Daisuk Tapan says, how about Sun, Mars, and ascendant in Scorpio with Taurus moon? Am I dominant in Scorpio? They want to know if they're dominant in Scorpio. So this is what I have to say about this, right? For starters, just off of the bat, I would say yes to answer your second question. Or to answer your question overall, I would say yes, you are dominant in Scorpio. However, it depends. And what I mean by that is it depends on your action. Because, okay, right, Mars, ruler over Scorpio, at least prehistorically, right? And it deals with action. Now, how you decide to take action will determine whether or not you're dominant in Scorpio. So you have the ruling planet inside of your first house, inside of your ascendant, which amplifies your effect, period, right? Because you are you're more of a self-starter. Not only that, but you go through things in life much quicker, like double the time than other people would. Plus the determination of Scorpio, the sign being there. So it's like you can achieve pretty much everything you put your mind to when you put action to it. You know how people say massive action is what brings the results, right? You can't just have a dream without putting the work in. So you understand this totally, right? And you are the embodiment of taking that step that most people or some people would be hesitant to take. Now, what also helps you is that your sun is in Scorpio. You're a Scorpio. So with that being said, the sun is the ego, basically is what the inner drive is, the desire to an extent as well. And Mars is the activation of the sun. So you have both there. So you're in a prominent position. Yes, you are dominant in Scorpio. Here's the things, right? And I'm making this so beautiful and fluffing this up for you, right? But I do have to give you a couple of warnings and polish you up again. And this is why, right? With Mars being inside of the first house, you must understand the difference between aggression and assertiveness. And that assertiveness deals with the individual. It deals more with you being confident in what you do. All right. So being aggressive, on the other hand, has to deal with other people. And Scorpio's period can sometimes struggle with learning when not to combat with somebody and when to, just learning when to fall back from certain situations or how to choose their battles. And this is because of Mars is that influential in the sign of Scorpio. That is just sometimes their temper, or Scorpio's temper, can get them into situations that they're not supposed to be in. So the key here is to remain dominant in Scorpio, is to, like I said, be assertive, be confident in what you do, and show that confidence in what you do as a singular entity, as a singular person. And you have the drive and determination to do it because you have Scorpio as an ascendant. Mars and Sun is there. So the cards are in your favor, all right? Don't sting yourself, as you may have heard the terminology of Scorpios being able to sting themselves when they, pretty much, like I said, take on battles that are not theirs. Cool it on the aggression tip. What else do I want to say about this? This magnetic pull about you. And with Scorpio being in the first house, period, let me put it more on that. With Scorpio being on the first house, you have this magnetic pull about you, and only people that get you or that know you like that understand your subtleness. So they pick up on the cues that most people can't pick up on, that builds your internal drive. So they know what type of motive you're on, right? So it's pretty much it's kind of like hidden to most other people. But see, that brings a magnetic lure of other people to you. So what I would say is, if you're not already doing this, you probably do this without even thinking about it, is, do what you do, become great at what you do, and you will see automatically that you will attract people while you're doing it. Like, you don't even have to pay them any mind. If they see you, they will pay you mind and be like, it's something about that person. I want to know something about that person, or I want to get close to them. And yeah, trust issues and stuff like that with the Scorpio is pretty much, it's under there a lot. However, how, like I said, the people who are closer to you, they pick up on the cues and they understand the internal motives. So you'll work through your way of being able to trust people when it comes to that. However, keep in mind, you are a Scorpio ascendant. So guess what? It doesn't matter as much as people may think it matters, and it won't matter as much as you may think it matters as well, because you're a high achiever. You are in a prominent position to be a high achiever, and people who deal with you are going to understand that. People who deal with you, like even people who may finance you or whatever the case may be, you may have some type of network. They probably won't even want to get in your way, because they'll understand how you move and how well you will do at doing what you need to do, or doing what it is that you love to do on your own. So that gives you room it gives you space to move, right? Now here's where another complication may arise, and probably does arise, is that you have your moon in Taurus, right? So first of all, what this does is, having a moon in Taurus is the gradual sign, right? It's the personal values and stuff like that. But first, let me get into the gradual sign. So here you are, you're like Speedy Gonzalez in your ascendant, right? Boom, you're out there. Like I said, you achieve things quicker than the average person does, or you complete tasks quicker than the average person does. So when you have a Taurus moon, what happens is there's like a slow motion effect that happens. So it's kind of like this. This is what I'll compare it to. It's like running like the $6 million man. Is that the name of the show from back in the days? $6 billion, $6 million, something like that. $6 billion man, for those who don't know, you may be too young to understand what show I'm talking about. It's about this like the bionic guy who had these incredible powers. And every time in the beginning when the show would come on, he would be running, and they'd be playing this like trancing music that's like, and they would show him running in slow motion, but really he's darting, like he's very quick, he's very fast, he's like Flash, like almost, right? Bionic powers, call him the Bionic Man. So it's kind of like that. I would parallel this position like that. Not only that, this is what you really got to look out for, is that your moon being in Taurus is opposite of Scorpio. So like they say, in an opposition aspect, period, right? It behooves one to go see what's on the other side of that, because the results and the achievements and the reward that's on the other side of that at times can be greater than an aspect that is a trine. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, this is when you may see competitive people or athletic people or just people in general who go through things in life, and they be like, but I love the struggle. You know what I mean? Like, let me not leave out the struggle. Like, you got to understand that what that struggle taught me. So that's like the opposition, going from Scorpio over to Taurus, to find out what things about potentially slowing down at times, which that placement will have you do, to like ponder maybe on what you're doing. Because as I said, with your placement, where Mars is at and where Scorpio is at, you probably will take on battles that are not necessarily yours. So your moon in Taurus will give you a gut or instinctual feeling to say, maybe I shouldn't do that, and Scorpios already have gut instincts that are very sharp. So you can be able to align that for yourself. But here's where the complications comes in, and I want you to remember this, is that it falls in the 7th house for you. All right, so that deals with relationships, business, and personal. Definitely business relationships, right? So what happens here is you got a strong ascendant, which deals with the self. Your Mars is there, it deals with the self. You take action for yourself. So now here you are in a position where your moon is at, where you got to think about other people, right? So you gotta tell yourself, you gotta understand yourself from the gate, and understand that these people that you link up with may also see you as selfish. They may see you as not being able to be compatible with them. You may also have trust issues with these people because you have such a strong sense of self with Mars, and you being a Scorpio with Mars there as well, and it's an ascendant, right? So it's amplified. So this may occur. You may also find yourself like, your romantic conquest may be over there. Let's say that's what the case is, right? You may sell yourself short dealing with your romantic conquest, because you're approaching it like on the surface level as a Taurus would. And for me, this is how I break it down. Like, Scorpios are deep. You know what I'm saying? Taurus, they're more like surface people. They're like, oh yeah, I want to go shopping. I'm feeling nice today. I want to go hit Fifth Avenue up. Heard me? Fifth Avenue. Sure, you will be able to afford it, right? However, like I said, you got to understand how much of yourself is involved, which is a lot. Your placement is there to show that a lot is involved for yourself. So how much are you willing to compromise? How much are you willing to risk? Not only if it's a romantic conquest over there in the 7th house for you, but with your relationships as well. And, these relationships that you build here might represent what's going to happen later on in the 11th house. You understand what I'm talking about? Or at least what's going to happen in the 10th house in your career, because it's an angular house, right? So you gotta keep this in mind because you know how your net works will determine your net worth later on. So you may find yourself not necessarily struggling, but with this information, of course, but you may find yourself doing more thinking and maybe even looking more suspecting at times because you may tell people, well, hold on, let me think about it. And they may be taken aback by that because if they watch you in action, they'll be like, oh, but you're so quick. Well, why does he need to think now? And it's just like you kind of being suspecting, but you should be. This is a place where you should be with your moon and Taurus, all right? Because it's opposite. But remember, oppositions can bring much reward. So you don't have to stray from it. Just be on point and be aware. All right, I'm out.
Hennessy. We felt it, wouldn't know that she was into me. Cab to the lab to conjure up the chemistry. So deep, might have reached another entity. Such a mystery. Hennessy. Open up, pour you a cup, let me in the sea. The way to transform all of this energy. Way to this woman's heart is through her kidneys. Though she was kidding me. Scorpio, got a thing for you. And I'm aware of the dark things some say about you. And all of the sexual things they say you were capable of. I'm saying, what's up? What's the best time to set a date with you? There's a nice spot that I can take you to. Need a drink or two, get that arrangement due. May seem like I'm interrogating you. Live for what you're faithful to. Just assume you're faithful. And you're sitting on kick too. I know the dude is thankful. Tell the bartender get your favorite drink. Oh, Hennessy. We felt it, wouldn't know